Hi there. I just want to do a really quick book review on Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. So this is the first book that I've actually been able to complete in 2021, which is great for me. I'm already off to a much better start than I was in 2020. I had a really hard time with reading, which was unfortunate because I centered a lot of my channel around being like a book blogger and wanting to get into like booktube and things like that. And unfortunately, 2020 was just really difficult for me to read. So I'm a little more hopeful for 2021. I'm going to put a lot less pressure on myself. I'm going to upload book reviews and talk about books in general when I feel like it. In any case, I finished this book today, and it was a really lovely rom-com story. So just to quickly summarize it, Happily Ever Afters is a young adult contemporary / rom-com, but it's definitely leaning more on the contemporary side. Tessa, the main character, is a gifted writer, and unbeknownst to her, her mother applies her greatest work to a Southern Californian high school because they have a special program just for writers of her merit. And she finds out that she's been accepted into this high school, into this writer's program. And at first she's a little taken aback, but then she goes for it because it's an exciting new venture for her and she loves writing so much. Unfortunately, when she's in the class, she realized part of the curriculum is there's peer reviews of your work. So the students within the class are allowed to critique your work, and the instructor wants each member of the class to be able to write their own stories and have the following peers and students be able to critique the work, which sends Tessa kind of into an anxious spiral because she has never been used to actually dealing with criticism and critique of her work, of her creative self. So she kind of stumbles into writer's block. Okay, I have some dinner that I'm trying to eat right now, but I'm going to complete this review. So Tessa has a classic case of imposter syndrome, and her writing is stalled. And unfortunately, despite her best efforts, she just can't get any of the words out. So her best friend concocts this foolproof idea that if she was to engage in some romance tropes, some rom-com tropes, and kind of create her own romantic love storyline, that she'd be inspired to write again. So her and her friend come up with this list of 10 or so scenarios that they can come up with to make Tessa's happily ever after come true and help inspire her to write again. And of course, hijinks ensue. So I have to say, overall, I thought this was a really cute book. I think as someone that, you know, enjoys creating art, who has written a book herself and has had to deal with plaguing thoughts of self-doubt and constantly being unsure if I'm willing to put myself out there, and then having to come to realization that as long as you're creating what you want to create and just having enough confidence in yourself that even if you were to get negative feedback, that you'll still know that you're okay. I found that a real comfort to read within the book. And this book definitely hammers that point home. In addition to that, I just thought it had a lot of light moments in it, a lot of levity in it. It was very sweet. It does deal with some heavier topics as well. It deals with disabilities, deals with microaggressions that you can encounter as a Black person. It deals with, as I said before, imposter syndrome and self-doubt, and it also touches upon classism as well. So there definitely are moments, teachable moments within the book. My only gripe, if I had any with the book, was that I just wish it had more looks. We had a closer look into Tessa's creative process. So a lot of the book is just dealing with her self-doubt and her just unfortunately not being able to write what she wants to write. So it's a major plot point. That's not really a spoiler in saying that. The book was marketed that way. that was something that she would have to overcome. So it definitely is a story that's more based on self-love and self-actualization versus, you know, finding your happily ever after with a love interest. But I wanted to see more of her creative writing process because I just think that would have been a cool outlook. And I wish we had more excerpts from her written stories and novels. Like we could have had more of it interwoven into the entire narrative because I just think that would have been really cool to see. And the actual love interest that is in the novel, like Tessa has two of them, but it becomes very clear early on who the real love interest is. I wish we just got to spend more time with him because he was just such a sweet character. His name is Sam. That probably is a spoiler. But I just wish we got to see more time with him because at the end of the book, we almost don't get a resolution. I mean, you can obviously read between the lines and figure out things will work out. And come on, like the book is called Happily Ever After. So obviously the character's going to have a happy ending of some sort. But I just felt like we were kind of missing some other key scenes between them. And I wish we just got to see a little bit more of that. But overall, I think it's a great read. I think it's an easy read, and I think it's a good way to kickstart anyone's reading journey this year, especially if you're having a difficult time with focusing on books. I mean, it is a pretty lengthy book. I think it's bordering on 400 pages, so, but it's not that dense of a read. It's pretty straightforward and easy to consume, and it didn't take me long to finish it myself. And I just want to see more Black authors being promoted in the publishing space. And I definitely want to see more Black female characters being represented in scenarios where they're able to express carefree joy. I genuinely do want to see more of that. So I'm really happy that I gave the book the chance, and I just want to see more from Elise Bryant. So thank you for joining me for this book review, and I hope to be able to feature more books on my channel going forward. But I am pretty interested in continuing my art journey and updating people on that. My glasses just fell off. Okay, that's a sign I need to wrap this up. Okay, bye.